I do this? So I'm going to do something I've never done on my channel before. I am going to watch this video called How to Start a Sewing Business, including free sewing business plan template. It's by bizmove.com. So I don't know anything about this. And so I thought I would just give a review, and I'll stop in between and let's see what they have to say.
How to start a sewing business. This video is designed to help you determine if your sewing business idea is feasible. To identify
Well, right now I'll tell you I wouldn't trust their advice, only because this is like an automated type of video. It's not like me, like a real person giving you real cider advice. So this ought to be an interesting video.
questions and problems you will face in converting your idea into reality. And to prepare for starting your sewing business. The video features all the essentials you must consider before you start your sewing business. This will allow you to predict problems before they happen and keep you from losing your shirt on dog business ideas.
Okay, so that statement is what's the word? I've never heard like an actual sewing business owner use that language, so I wonder if this company took an article and then put it in an article spinner. So I used to be in marketing and publicity, and a lot of times my customers or my clients, not customers, but clients, would write and distribute articles online. And what would happen is certain individuals, like spam kind of fake business owners or fake businesses would take the article that my customer or client would write, and they would spin it in the software, and the software would just throw in random words that made no sense, but they changed it enough to legally be able to use the article, even though it's not really that's not a really good business model to have. So all right, so we'll press forward.
At the end of the video, there are 3 valuable free gifts waiting for you. A token of appreciation for watching this video. Operating your sewing business will depend on the following 4 conventions. 1. A practical plan with a solid foundation. 2. Dedication and willingness to sacrifice to reach your goal. 3.
Hi, my name's Alejandro.
So I'm going to end up skipping through the ads because this channel was
4. Basic.
This channel is just created so the owner of it will earn ad revenue. And if you reach 1,000 subscribers and jump through a couple hoops with your YouTube channel, then obviously you can create an income from the ads also. Okay.
Knowledge of management, finance, record keeping, and market analysis.
So number 4, basic knowledge of management, finance, record keeping, and market analysis is not necessary. It's not 100% necessary for you to have a successful sewing business. You can always outsource that to somebody else. Because if you are busy sewing or managing some seamstresses on your sewing team, you can outsource this to somebody else.
As a new owner, you will need to master these skills and techniques if your business is to be successful. Identify your reasons. As a first and often overlooked step, ask yourself why you want to own your own business. Check the reasons that apply to you. 1. Freedom from the 9-to-5 daily work routine.
So everybody that wants a business, or everybody trying to sell you a business plan or sell you on something to be an entrepreneur, is going to use this right here, freedom from your 9-to-5 daily work routine. That's also false, but it's true. It's one of those things where Yeah, you don't have to clock in and out from 9 to 5, right? You can clock in and out whenever you want. But I work all kinds of crazy hours. I am clocking in and out of my company midnight, 3 a.m., 8 a.m., 6 a.m. I mean, I am all over the place. I clock in and out to help run my disabled daughters where they need to go. Neither of them drive. They're not allowed to drive because of their medical condition. I clock in and out to help my husband get ready for his job, to make sure he eats a decent meal before he leaves to the medical field. So, some of this is true. You're free from that, from a job, but this is saying freedom from the 9 to 5 daily work routine. But you and I know, as a business owner, especially, well, any business owner, but especially sewing, you need to have a work routine, and you need to try to have really good hours. So that's, I don't know. Number one is just off the wall. Okay.
2. Being your own boss. 3. Doing what you want when you want to do it. 4. Improving your standard of living. 5. Boredom with your present job. 6. Having a product or service for which you feel there is a demand. Some reasons are better than others, none are wrong. However, be aware that there are trade-offs. For example, you can escape the 9 to 5 daily routine, but you may replace it with a 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. routine. Preliminary analysis, major flaws. Yes, response to questions such as the following would indicate that your business idea has little chance for success. 1. Are there any causes, such as restrictions, monopolies, shortages, that make any of the required factors of operation unavailable, such as unreasonable cost or scarce skills? 2. Are capital requirements for entry or continuing operations excessive? 3. Is adequate financing hard to obtain? 4. Are there factors that prevent effective marketing? A self-analysis. Starting a business requires certain personal characteristics. This portion of the video deals with you, the individual. This next group of questions, though brief, is vitally important to the success of your plan. It covers the physical, emotional, and financial strains you will encounter in starting a new business. Are you aware that running your own business may require working 12 to 16 hours a day, 6 days a week, and maybe even Sundays and holidays?
So I'm glad that they touched on that. Like I said, I didn't watch this ahead of time, but yeah. So any sewing business, you are all over the place, like with hours, especially if it's right before like holidays and things like that, depending on what you sell. All right, so let's go on.
To handle the workload and schedule. Do you have the emotional strength to withstand the strain? Are you
just make sure that if you are like stressed out, which all of us are, right, that you take at least 1 day a week to do something fun for yourself. That way you just don't get like burned out. It's a terrible place to be. I've been there. I've done it to myself too many times.
If needed, to temporarily lower your standard of living until your business is firmly established.
So, like for me, my business it does not afford me to work full time in my company yet. I still have to work a full time day job and pick up like random jobs and stuff like that, because the machines that I have for my business plan, my machines they're expensive. And I don't have the top of the line machines. I have like very, very basic. Like right now I have a single needle machine going in the background, which is what that noise is. And then I have like a basic sewing machine, a basic serger. But regardless, they're expensive. So I took on another job in order to be able to have the money to invest in my company.
Is your family prepared to go along with the strains they too must bear? Are you prepared to lose your savings in case your plan fails?
Do not use your savings or retirement for your business. Get a side hustle. like Uber or Uber Eats or shopping for people, cleaning like hotels or something. Do something, but do not. I really hope that you do not use your savings or retirement for your business.
Fails. Finding a niche. Small businesses range in size from a manufacturer with many employees and millions of dollars in equipment to the lone window washer with a bucket and a sponge.
Okay, so yeah, you need to find a niche. Because my niche is memory bears and sentimental sewing. All of that is the same umbrella, different services, and they keep in line with each other. Um, you don't Whatever sewing business you have, you don't want to spread yourself so thin that you're making for newborns or toddlers, uh, children, adolescents, teenagers, moms, dads, grandparents. I mean, like if you don't want to stretch yourself so thin that you are like all over the place. So really, really assess yourself, assess your skills and your desires and what you enjoy doing. I do not enjoy sewing clothes. You will not see me offer clothes. I don't like to hem pant. I don't like anything to do with any clothes for humans. And the only clothes that I sew now are for the memory bears. That's it. I no longer take any side jobs for like seamstress or anything like that.
Obviously, the knowledge and skills required for these two extremes are far apart, but for success, they have one thing in common. Each has sound ideas
I'm going to
from those
just kind of
very.
skip around here. Let's see what this one is. Only because I don't want to. I mean, you can always, like, I can share what this is at the bottom, but I really don't want to have to watch the
A
entire
trained
thing.
statistician to analyze the marketplace, nor does the analysis have to be costly. Analyzing the market as a way to gather facts about potential customers and to determine the demand for your product or service. The more information you gather, the greater your chances of capturing a segment of the market. Know the market before investing your time and money in any business venture. The following questions will help you collect the information necessary to analyze your market and determine if your product or service will sell. This brief exercise will give you a good idea of the kind of market planning you need to do. An answer of no to any of the questions indicates a weakness in your plan, so do your research until you can answer each question with a yes. 1. Do you know who your customers will be? 2.
You really, really need to know who you're going to serve with your memory bears and sentimental sewing because they vary. Customers, there are certain things they want, I mean that's true with all businesses, but when it comes to memory bears, not everybody likes teddy bears and not everybody desires our services. So you really need to decide what you're going to offer. Maybe you're really, really good at turning wedding gowns or dance outfits into a sentimental bear for somebody that's still living and they want something made out of their favorite jersey that they can keep for themselves. Um, Maybe that's the customers you're going to speak to instead of speaking to the grandchildren because the grandparents passed away, that kind of thing.
Do you understand their needs and desires? 3. Do you know where they live? 4. Will you be offering the kind of products or services that they will buy? 5. Will your prices be competitive in quality and value? 6. Will your promotional program be effective? 7. Do you understand how your business compares with your competitors? 8. Will your business be conveniently located for the people you plan to serve? 9. Will there be adequate parking facilities for the people you plan to serve?
I don't offer, like, my studio is private, so nobody comes to my studio. If that was ever to change, then I would definitely make sure there was parking places for the customers. But this type of job, really, you don't need that kind of um, building. You really don't, as long as you have a dedicated sewing area in your house. Um, so, keep that in mind. I don't want you to think that you have to um, have this huge space to offer these services. Um, so far, the questions are decent. Just, even if you just go through and write down these questions, we can talk them over for some possible answers if you'd like in a free group. So I have a free group for Memory Bear owners, business owners, that should be on my website. So if you go to like stephaniegrams.com, you'll be able to see it.
Sir, planning your startup. So far, this video has helped you identify questions. They are designed to help you prepare for opening day. Name and legal structure. 1. Have you chosen a name for your business? 2.
Just make sure that let me hear what they have to say first.
Have you chosen to operate as sole proprietorship, partnership, or corporation? Business premises and location. 1. Have you found a suitable building in a location convenient for your customers? 2. Can the building be modified for your needs at a reasonable cost?
Um, but yeah, so I'm just going to skip these ads here.
Lawyer, check the zoning regulations and lease. Merchandise. Have you decided what items you will sell or produce, or what services you will provide? Have you made a merchandise plan based upon estimated sales to determine the amount of inventory you will need to control purchases? Have you found reliable suppliers who will assist you in the startup? Have you compared the prices, quality, and credit?
Yeah, so my sewing machine that I used to get started um, was basic from the big box store. And it was a gift from my husband to me because the sewing machine, obviously, over years, sewing machines don't work well. And like the sewing machine I had like 10 years ago, just it needed fixed, and it was just cheaper to buy a new one. So I donated it. Don't ever throw them away, like your sewing machines. If you can't afford to fix them or you don't want to fix them, definitely donate them. I donated mine to, I believe it was a Goodwill.
Too many entrepreneurs try to start and operate a business without sufficient capital, money.
So for a memory bear business, you need a sewing machine, thread, good scissors, a pattern, and then you can go ahead and accept the order and have your customer pay half up front. With that half up front is what you use to buy the polyfill, stabilizer. If you need an iron, you buy your iron. So half down that your customer gives you, that's non-refundable. So I hope that's in your contract, and we do go over the contracts and stuff in my classes. And the link to my classes, my classes are listed on my website. My website is in the bio author area down underneath this video. And sorry, there will be no editing to this video either because I just don't have the time. But anyways, should have your terms and conditions. You should have your privacy policy, your contract, and everything. But anyways, you should not have to go in debt to start this company. Again, you don't have to have the best of the best sewing machines, but you don't want to use one of those children's machines because those do not make very well stitches.
Money. To avoid this dilemma, you can review your situation by analyzing the following 3 questions. 1. How much money do you have? 2. How much money will you need to start your business? 3. How much money will you need to stay in business? In order to answer the second question, how much money will you need to start your business, you need to prepare an estimate of all your startup costs. Here is a list of items you may need to take into account. Note that this list is for a retail business. Items will vary for service, construction, manufacturing, or for opening, unanticipated expenses.
Right down here, it says something about legal fees, permits. Those are needed in your business, but they are not needed in your hobby. A hobby you need to get some legal advice and tax advice. I'm not allowed to really give that because I'm not a professional, but there is a difference between a hobbyist and a business owner. Just make sure that you look all of that up. Again, you can ask that in my private group.
Now, the answer to the third question, how much money will you need to stay in business, must be divided into two parts, immediate costs and future costs. From the
So we
moment the
talk about future costs with this business. So immediate is good scissors, a pattern, thread, sewing machine, right? That's immediate. You can't start the order without all of those without those items, right? But future costs would be maintenance on your machine, upgrading your machine. If you wanted to add on services where you might need ribbon or lace, um, different snaps, things like that. Again, I talk about that in my class.
door to your new business opens, a certain amount of income may come in. However, this income should not be projected in your operating expenses. You will need enough money available to cover costs for at least the first 3 months of operation. The following list will help you project your operating expenses on a monthly basis. Typical expenses for 1 month may include your living costs, employee wages, rent, advertising, supplies, utilities, insurance, taxes, maintenance, delivery, transportation. You will be able to continue.
So if you're working from home to start with, or you just have a dedicated area, just remember to measure the area that you use, measure the amount of electricity, get some advice, legal and tax advice, because there are certain things that are right off. But with this video, a lot of it is not pertinent to our business structure. So I just kind of skipped over it because I just don't want to take up the time for
Continue in
that.
business during the crude and determining your annual expenses is to estimate your sales volume month by month. Next, determine the cost of sales. You may want to use a spreadsheet to do this. After startup, the primary source of revenue in your business will be from sales, but your sales will vary from month to month because of seasonal patterns and other factors.
So that's something that we may experience in our memory bear business. There might be times where there's not very many orders coming through and you rely on that income. So that is something we talk about in my private group, but I also go into depth in the private classes that I offer and how to overcome possible times of crickets.
It is important to determine if your monthly sales will produce enough income to pay each month's bills. An estimated cash flow projection will show if the monthly cash balance is going to be subject to such factors as the
Excuse me.
following: failure to recognize seasonal trends, excessive cash taken from the business for living expenses, too rapid expansion, and slow collection of accounts if credit is extended to customers.
Do not extend credit. You do not deliver these memory bears and items until you are paid in full. So make sure that's in writing. It needs to be in writing for friends and families or family members. Never sew on credit. Never, 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 never.
Conclusion: if you have carefully answered all the questions in this video, you have seriously thought about your goal. However, there may be some things you may feel you need to know more about. Owning and running a sewing business is a continuous learning process. Research your idea and do as much as you can yourself, but don't hesitate to seek help from people who can tell you what you need to know. As we conclude this video, here are your 3 free gifts. 1. An extensive business plan template that
Okay, so I'm going to stop the video here because I think I've recorded enough time. But take your goals and ideas and plans and you put them on paper. I do have a business plan template that I give my students that's specific to memory bears and sentimental sewing. I do share my journey and my story. I share my tax write offs and my legal structure. That is not advice. I'm just sharing my story. So I do have to put that disclaimer on everything I do. Um, if I don't verbalize it, at least it's in writing. But, um, every business, your business can fail, right? We all know that. But before you start your, before you turn your, before you decide to turn this into a business, look at it as a hobby and get really good at what you do. Now, I charged money when I was getting really good at what I do. And then I turned it into an LLC, and that's where we are today. That's why I'm talking to you today. I did not have a mentor. I did not have a business coach. The business coaches I reached out to did not understand this type of company. They did not understand this type of business. And I was left finding the answers to my questions and then trying to find the right questions to ask. And it was very frustrating for me. But here I am, there you are, and I do offer all of this in my classes. I have already published one book. The second book is going to be out by January 2022. Right now I'm taping this on September 17th, 2021. And did you hear that? I think my husband's up. But anyways, I hear a lot of walking around above my head. So, anyways, I hope that you subscribe, join my group, join my newsletter. Let me know how you're doing in business. And sorry if the quality of this video is not as pretty as a lot of other people, but I am using the technology that I have right now. All right, guys, it's Stephanie Grahams. Have a great day.